great if we could. I'm going, it's the week before Thanksgiving. So the 17th, 18th, and 19th, but I do have that Thursday and Friday that I have open.
Okay. Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Okay, yeah. I definitely want to take you to Jefferson High School. I'm also the head coach for softball there. I just really care about the kids. So,
Awesome. Cool.
yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, just email me and we'll
Yeah,
set it
yeah,
up.
I will. Oh, I'm excited. Yes.
Okay, way to jump right in. I'll
Yeah.
officially kick us off here. Oh, we got
All
two
right.
more waiting. Um, so for those who maybe aren't familiar, my name is Matt Bezick. I'm the executive director for the Oregon Trio Association. And this is kind of a joint presentation. I'm definitely going to start things off with our wonderful CIEE contact, Kaylee here, and give you a chance to introduce yourself in a moment. But as OTA has been working with CIEE for the past couple of years, you just heard from Ashley, like we've had a lot of students be able to go abroad. So I've been able to go abroad as a chaperone, and I know there's been a lot of other trio staff around the state that have been able to go too. So I know we're going to cover kind of like everything your students need to know. That's a lot of what Kaylee's going to cover. And then we can, touch on some of the OTA supports because they do look a little different. With the loss of the state funding, there's not necessarily those same flight opportunities, but hopefully what you'll see and from what you'll hear from the other folks is that there's still plenty of accessible opportunities for our students. And I think we're going to touch a little bit on like the program leader and kind of being one of the chaperones on one of these at the end as well. And then just a bunch of opportunities for questions. So this is both for trio staff and professionals, interested students, any families, just try to cover it all and answer any of those questions. For starters, I put in the chat as well a link to our website. Our website just has a video that I did the first year we went with students to South Africa, so you can kind of see some of it and hear from their experience from Oregon Trio students. And then there's also a link that brings you right to the application for the Global Navigator scholarships, which are built into the application that we'll see here in a moment. But Kaylee, do you want to just introduce yourself and take it
Hmm.
away here?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. And thank you for setting this up. I don't know if anyone heard, I just started with CIE a few months ago. So I am the Global Education Advisor for the Pacific Northwest, so Washington and Oregon. I live in Tacoma, born and raised, and I'm really, really excited to work in an organization that supports international education. I studied abroad in France. I went to Western and I majored in French and linguistics. And then after college, I studied abroad. I didn't want to go. And it was, looking back now, it's pretty funny, but I was basically forced. I was very codependent. I'm the youngest of three. So very codependent on my family and friends. Everyone was like, you'd be crazy to pass this up. So I signed up for 4 weeks and I stayed for 6 months. That's just how much I fell in love with the whole experience, with the country, um, the culture, just everything. And so when I go and I talk to students, I start with that and I really emphasize, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not someone who is talking about study abroad that has no experience. Like I lived it. I personally went through the hard days where you're homesick or you get lost and you don't know how to get to school. Like I experienced all that and I came out totally changed. Study abroad really made me more independent and confident, which is something I needed at the time as a young adult. And it just set me up for my future. Um, I felt like I could do anything. And so I am super excited to be in this role to talk to any student that I can. And I also tell them, you have such an amazing opportunity to do this now while you're still in high school. Because, a lot of these kids, they think of studying abroad in college or after college, and something that isn't even feasible for them. And so my goal after talking to them and presenting with them is one, to get them excited, to get them interested in study abroad, and to just share all of the programs we have, our $7 million in scholarships that we have, um, and get them more comfortable with the idea that you actually could study abroad. It is a possibility. So Anyway, that's just my little intro. But thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate it. Um, so when I present to students, I start off with, my story, and then there's like a theme with study abroad, right? Like, and we call it the 3 Fs. It's fun, friends, and future. Um, our programs, they're not like a field trip type of program. We really want these kids to gain independence. We want them to gain some confidence. And so we have a lot of free time for them to explore with their friends. We want them to learn about the culture, learn the city that they're in. We want them to meet the locals. Um, and then we also have daily activities for them. This is after their schooling, after they're in class. We take them out. And then friends, I emphasize that. They're going to have and meet so many new friends. Our programs, they're not going to go just with students in Oregon or students in the Pacific Northwest. They're going to be grouped with students around the US. So, they could meet someone from Florida, Chicago, New York, wherever. Um, and I also say this is actually true. I'm not BSing. I am best friends with my roommate who I met in France. She lives in Sweden, and so we alternate uh, who goes where when we see each other. And that was years ago. So they really will be making these lifelong connections. And future. I don't know if you guys know this, but 2% of high school students study abroad. And I like really let that sink in when I talk to them. Like, think about that, you guys. Like, if you study abroad and you apply for college, you're going to stand out because those college admissions teams, they want to see those types of students, right? Because for them, it shows them that they're independent, they're responsible, they're stepping outside of their comfort zone. They have a really vast global perspective of the world. Um, and so I I like emphasize that because it's so important to um, to realize that only 2%, you're only 2% of high school students. Um, and then also I talk about gaining independence. Like this is we ask our students at the end of the program, like, what's the one thing that you gained from this whole experience, from this whole program? And the number one response that we get is gaining independence. And and it's true. Like I experienced that too. Mom and dad, bestie or girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever, they're not going to be there with them. They're going to have to learn how to navigate um, any issues that may come up, just learn how to live in a different country by themselves. And so it really does set them up for success in their life. Um, I'm going to talk about mostly summer programs, but we do have 4 high school programs. I'll talk briefly about the semester gap in first year with you guys here. Um, semester abroad, it's becoming more and more popular actually. We kind of have two different programs for semester. We have an immersion in where the students get to live with a host family and spend a summer attending a local high school. Really helps their language skills and then gets them that real deep cultural immersion um, that you see with study abroad. And a semester could be 16 to 18 weeks up to a whole school year if they choose. And then the other program is semester in, and that's when they spend a high school semester following our US aligned high school classes through ASU. They can design their own schedule, which is super cool. They can combine in-person instruction at our own CIEE centers at the locations where they are through the ASU Prep global classes, and then also online as well. And then for recently graduated seniors, we have GAP in first year. We're also like totally revamping the GAP in first year programs the past couple years. So we spent a lot of work getting those like top tier. For GAP, it really, I mean, I wish I did GAP when I was younger. I feel like gap years just becoming more and more popular and more positive. I feel like years ago it was kind of looked down on. But our GAP program really provides this, life-changing experiences for these kids who may be overwhelmed with college. They didn't get into their college choice. They're still trying to figure it out. They don't know. And so we offer 3 different type of programs with GAP. We have language immersions, and that's 11, 12 weeks long. We also have an internship, which is 12 weeks, where they intern at a local business that's matched to their career or interest that they're interested in. And then we do have a multi-city experience. I think it's 3 different cities in a country that they'll be going to, exploring different cultures. So it helps them get that confidence in themselves, and helps them come prepared, refreshed, and confident and ready to go to college or whatever they decide. And then first year, that's a really cool program. They can spend their first semester or year, school year, earning credits through ASU, online and in person as well. They live with the host family, and the program offers a path to admission at one of our partner colleges. We have a lot of partner colleges. They get to, I think it's 12 to 14 credits. And if they want, they can transfer. Just for example, our college partners are ASU, Belmont, George Washington University, Loyola, University of Illinois in Chicago, University of Iowa, and some others. So a lot of cool opportunities for them. That's kind of a quick rundown of those programs, but I'm really going to focus, like I said, on summer. Summer's our most popular program by far for high school students. And you can kind of subcategorize that into 2 different programs. On one side, there's the language and culture programs. That is 4 weeks. And then we have topic programs, and those are 3 weeks. I also show this map when I present to classes, just to show these kids, like, you can go anywhere you want, right? Like, we're not just in Europe. Yes, we have a lot of sites and programs in Europe, just because there are a lot of different countries and cultures in Europe, but we are all over the world. We are in Africa, we're in Asia, Asia Pacific, Latin America. And so I tell these kids, I want you to study abroad. I want you to study what you want to study, and I want you to study where you want to study. Where do you want to study? Not mom and dad thinking for you. Like, where do you want to study? There's a lot of opportunity. Okay, so let's quickly talk about these programs. The first one are the language programs. Those are 4 weeks, like I said. They can choose between those 8 different languages. The awesome thing about this program is that you can be a complete beginner. You don't even have to know the language. So if you have a student, they're in Spanish, and they really want to go to Spain or Latin America to get those language skills up, awesome, they can go do that. But if they're interested in another language, or they want to be trilingual, or they're thinking about college and they might have to minor in a different language, they can totally do that. These programs, they do stay with a host family. One, it's that cultural immersion that you can only get from studying abroad. Like, that is an actual picture from a student in Morocco in one of our host families. But like, what is it like living in Morocco? What is it like living in South Korea? These kids are going to find out. And also helps with their language, right? They're going to have to converse with them 24/7. I had a student in Seattle. He went to Barcelona, and his host mom like spoke no English, not even like hello, yes, thank you, nothing. And so now he is like, I mean, he was already in Spanish 3 or 4, but now, I mean, Spanish is like nothing for him now. Like, he can just speak it. So they really get those language skills up. And then there is an opportunity for the students to earn 4 college credits, and that's with Tulane University. And then before they go on program, they're going to take a stamp test, and that's a language test, and it just allows us to place them in the appropriate level. And then at the end of the program, they're going to take it again, and that's one so they can see their growth. Super cool, right? And then also, if they pass, they can get a global seal of biliteracy, which is an amazing opportunity. I don't know if you know what that is. It's a language certification worldwide. a great honor to have. They can use that certification on applications, college, job, scholarship applications, and it really opens the doors for their future academic and future career opportunities. So it's a great thing to have. The other program for summer are topic programs, and these are 3 weeks, and these are topic based, right? So we have a lot of STEM, so different types of engineering, engineering and sustainability, engineering and video game design, engineering and aeronautics, marine ecology, super popular program. And then we have a lot of arts and culture, so filmmaking, photography, creative writing, culinary, dance, and then we have a lot of business and social change um, as well. These programs are taught in English. So if they're really interested in marine ecology in Portugal, they don't have to know Portuguese. Um, Most of these programs, they will also be staying with a host family. There are a few where they are in like a dorm, but for the most part, they're going to be with a host family. And then some programs offer up to 50 hours of service learning as well. So kind of what it looks like when they're on program, when they're living abroad. Monday through Friday, they're going to have classes for 2 to 3 hours. We want it to be fun for them, right? We want them to have fun. We want them to learn something. And so we're going to make it interactive. This isn't the type of learning where they're in a classroom with books and they're repeating and what the teacher says. And that's not how it is at all. For example, the marine ecology in Portugal, one day they learn about fish species or native plants, and then the next day they'll go to the beach or they'll go snorkeling and go actually see those fish species that they're learning about. So very fun, interactive type of classes and workshops, 2 to 3 hours a day. After that, they have lunch, and then they have culture activities. These are group activities, so things that they're going to be doing together as a group. Things like flamingo dancing, or culinary classes, or zip lining, or historic site visits, or museum visits, things like that. And then, like I said earlier, we want these kids to gain independence, right, and confidence. And so having a lot of free time to explore with their friends. And then weekends are more fun. They get one day trip, an overnight excursion. Um, the student in Seattle I was talking to you about who went to Barcelona, one of their day trips, they went about an hour outside of Barcelona and they saw this Colosseum where they used to do live executions there 2000 years ago. And so they got to see that and like learn about the history, spent the time like the rest of the day in the town. So super fun things like that they're going to be doing. Um, I want to take just a little bit of time to talk about program leaders. Super awesome opportunity if you guys are interested. Um, Program leaders go on our programs with our students. They're the chaperones, the mentors, the coordinator, the facilitator. They're everything to these kids. And and I get this question a lot, like what makes a good program leader? Like, do I have to have any prereqs? Like what is needed? We're really looking for people who are experienced with high school students, who have traveled or have, experience with traveling, international traveling. Um, you have to have that flexibility. You have to have that um, adaptability, kind of go with the flow, because you are in charge of this group of students. And so things are going to come up and they're going to come to you first, right? So you have to have that positive attitude and be flexible. But that's basically like and responsible, right? Um, what you're really going to be doing is you're going to be chaperoning the flights to and from the program. So you'll be meeting somewhere in the US, and then meeting those students and flying with them to wherever you're going. You're going to facilitate all the activities, the discussions, the reflections. You're going to be really supporting these students 24/7, right? Um, and assisting any problems they have, like my phone doesn't work or I lost my Metro card, to maybe more serious issues. Um, So you're going to be that main point of contact for these kids. Um, and then also you're going to participate in all those really fun activities, those excursions, those overnights. You'll be going on those as well. And then you also will have this help and support with the center staff. You'll be working with them as well, to really make sure that these kids have a good time. Um, there's a lot of awesome benefits to being a program leader. You can get 40 to 70 um, uh, hours for depending on the program. And then all of those incentives are based on how many students you can refer. Um, but just a lot of, not only do you get to go on these programs and see firsthand the change that and the impact of studying abroad has on these kids, but you also can benefit too. So it's a great opportunity. Um, there is on our website, that link is just for program leaders. It has tons of more detailed information if you want. And also the application is going on now. So if you are interested, you are more than welcome to start. We're looking to get over 400 for next summer. So we are actively looking and hiring. So if you guys are interested, please go on ahead. We would love it, honestly. And Matt, you were a program leader, right?
I've done it twice. Yeah.
Twice.
And
Okay. Yeah.
I think I know about 10 other people between my friends and
That's
other trio
awesome.
folks who have done it the last 3 years.
Aw,
It is the
cool.
best. Like, if you're coming from our world, right, the trio world, we do
Mm-hmm.
field trips all the time. We go to college campuses. Some of them are overnight. It's just that for 3 weeks, but you don't have to plan anything. Like
No.
that site center, the people who like work full time for CIEE at these locations, they have everything planned for you. You just hang out with the
Mhm.
students, send them on their way, and you get free. Not like the students, they try to give them enough free time to have some independence, but like not too much to get in trouble. But you and the other program leaders are not usually alone. Like you can find ways, or they're doing class stuff that you're not leading, and you have plenty of time to either explore your own or just have free time to nap or
Mhm.
catch up on stuff. So like I have found it to be just amazing, and is honestly like enhance my experience of the places I've got to travel to. I've gone to South Africa and Ireland, in part because you're seeing it through the eyes of these, like, especially in my case, because I went in like 21 and 20, and I kind of went soon after COVID, where it was these students who had not really been anywhere, and just the sheer
Mhm.
excitement and awe in their eyes for everything just made the
Mhm.
experience that much better for me. So I
Mhm.
think the program, every site is going to be a little different. So you don't totally know what you're getting into. You get there, but there's an ample amount of training and preparation that goes into it. And I felt super well supported and had a blast. You get to do just every cool, like, touristy thing you can probably imagine in the town you're in. The students are probably doing anyway, and you just get to do it with them. It's all paid for. And you even usually will get a day off or two, just period, in the whole stretch to go do your own kind of longer adventure. So I could
Mhm.
not recommend it more. If you're somebody who has those like summer months free in like June and July, it's just an incredible. And from my experience, more the folks at CIEE who hire program leaders. They love trio folks. They get
Mhm.
a lot of classroom teachers who are off in the summer, but classroom teachers love control and they love yelling and they love like following their rules, and like you need to be a little more flexible with
More
this kind of
fun.
stuff. And we are really good at doing that. Like that's kind of our vibe, and just helping cultivate an environment where everyone feels safe and feel like they can be themselves and make friends. So I could
Mhm.
not recommend it highly enough. So
No, thanks. Thanks for sharing. And yeah, like just also what Matt was saying, we have site staff at every location. And so you're going to have their help and support. They will be helping you. You're not planning anything. You're just going along and doing, okay, we're going here this day. You're not, that's all set up. So anyway, our site staff is amazing. They really are fantastic and have really put a lot of work into these programs. So but anyway, thanks for sharing, Matt. Um, I don't know if you guys know, we see at CIEE, we give away $7 million in scholarships a year. I really emphasize this too with kids. Like, we want you to study abroad, no matter who you are. We don't care. We don't care about your background. We don't care about your financial circumstance. We want to give you guys the opportunity to study abroad. Um, so there's 3 different ways to enroll. The first one is enroll directly. That's if they don't want or need a scholarship. They really want a particular program. They want to get in. They want to make sure they get in. They don't need the help. Fine, they can enroll directly. And then we have 2 scholarships. The first one is the Merit Award, and that's $500 off, and that is awarded on a weekly-ish basis. So if they apply, about a week, week and a half, they're going to find out if they get that Merit Award. And then the larger one is the merit and financial need. That is when we're looking at the merit and the family's financial circumstances. That is not available to seniors, however, so keep that in mind. The application for that, the due date is January 21st, so right around the corner, really. This scholarship, it's 10 to 100% off. Pretty awesome. When they apply, I say, we're going to ask you for your top 3 choices in programs, because when you apply in January, you'll find out in February if you get or how much you will receive. Well, by February, your program that you want may be filled by then, because we're accepting applications now. So what I tell them is the majority of this scholarship really does go towards the language and culture programs. About 85% of it does. So what I tell them is, if you really do need this help, awesome, fine, apply for it. But your top 2 choices, you should put a language and culture for those, just so you have a higher chance of receiving that scholarship. Also, I talk about being flexible. Like, they have to be willing to maybe not get their first choice of program, maybe not even their second, to just adapt, be flexible with your choices. If they are applying for a scholarship, this is what they'll need to do: 3 short essays, and we're talking short, we're not talking novels or anything, but our team, they really do look at these essays. And so I tell them, get feedback from your teachers, get feedback from your parents or whoever, because these essay questions are very important on your application. They will have to upload their transcripts. They'll have to get a teacher recommendation, which is they don't need to write a long letter or essay or anything. It's a very simple teacher recommendation. They'll have to sign some terms and conditions. And if they are applying for that larger scholarship, their parents will have to upload the 1040.
Just to chime in
Yeah.
quick, you may have touched on this, but I know we recommend students to put at least one of the language programs.
Mm-hmm.
A big percentage of the funds from that big scholarship pool go
Mm-hmm.
towards the language programs, not necessarily the theme. So the student may still have the option
Mm-hmm.
to do a theme-based one, but it's
Mm-hmm.
recommended put it in there. And then I saw in the
Yeah.
chat there's a question about, can students go again if they already have received a scholarship? I believe they could still get the merit again, but that financial need scholarship is more of a one-time offer, which
Mm-hmm.
I know makes it a hurdle given
Mm-hmm.
the cost of the full program, and only $500 off versus like a $6,000 scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
students can go multiple times, but that big scholarship is only going to be available the one time.
Yeah. And sorry, I can't see the comments because I'm sharing my screen.
Yep.
So sorry. But yes, thank you. And for that, and also we have discounts. So I think it's like $500 if they want to go again. If they've done a program and they want to do it again, they get an extra $500 off. So we do have discounts, and sibling discounts. So, but yes, that is correct. I also show these dates, just so you guys know. The final scholarship deadline is January 21st. And then in February, if they are applying for that larger scholarship, they will know in February how much they are awarded. But we are accepting applications now. So I think in Washington and Oregon, I think we have like 250 applications already, which is pretty awesome. I show them this is how to start an application. And I really, really emphasize like you and your family are not committing anything when you start an application because this is always the time where they're like, oh my gosh, no, I'm not going to do it. No, no, no. Um, but I really talk about that you starting an application, you're just giving us information. You are not submitting anything because me and Luca and Katie, my team, we are going to be calling you or texting you, calling your parents. Like, we're going to make this a really fun personal experience when you apply. We're going to make sure that you choose the right program. We're going to make sure that, you are on task with everything on your application if you're missing anything. So it's really just for us to get their information so we can help them with the process. Um, and then also, they do need to know when they start an application what type of scholarship they want. So whether no scholarship or the merit or that big one, the merit and financial need. And so I let them know that you're going to have to, but also we can change it if, you know, few weeks later, you're actually like, oh, I need to get this other scholarship. We can totally change it. It's not a big deal. But I try to say, the whole process with CIEE, it's very personal. Like from me just coming to a school and talking to them and meeting them and getting them excited to study abroad to them coming home, right? That whole process, we are here to help them every step of the way, especially with starting an application. And getting that excitement up and getting their parents on board because they have to have their parents on board. That's very important. But yeah, that's all I have for.
And if students ever complain about this is a long application, this is like a verbatim application to going to college. Consider this great practice for
Practice. Yeah.
doing FAFSA, for doing your college admissions stuff.
Hmm.
Like those are going to feel very standard after doing this experience. So even if they just are doing it and don't get awarded a scholarship, like there is something to be gained from that.
Hmm.
And I want to say, I mean, it's been almost half of the students from Oregon since I've been tracking it the last 4 years have gotten some of these need-based, merit-based scholarships.
Hmm.
And it's probably 20 to 30 of them have been like full ride scholarships, students from Oregon. So it is a massive, massive amount of money that goes specifically trying to target, communities like we serve that are the lower income families. So it is an absolute perfect fit. If you have
Hmm.
20 students apply, there's probably quite a few of them who will have an opportunity to go. And when they notify you in February, it gives you hopefully enough time to commit to go and fundraise for those flights. Because as I said earlier, with our state funding going away, we don't have any like the flight scholarships, but there were so many students going anyway that we couldn't even guarantee all the flights anyway for students. But a lot of them have been finding ways to kind of make it happen anyway. So
Yeah. Oh, and I will say too, one thing I did forget to mention, the pricing. When you see the pricing, what is included, what's not, right? So what is included is the accommodation, so the host family, or dorm, whatever accommodation for that program. All the classes, the activities, the excursions, the day trip, the overnight trip, all of that is included. Meals are included. So breakfast and dinner will be with their host family. Lunch, they will be given money. Transportation, so like while they're there on program, like a Metro card. Each student will be giving a Metro card. And then also every student who travels with us gets our iNext insurance. That's just our medical travel insurance. It's underwritten by Nationwide. Um, it covers everything. So that's included. What's not included is airfare, what Matt was saying. And then also like passport. Like if they need a passport, that will cost them money. That's not included in our pricing.
I just wanted to echo something that Matt said about scholarships because my son used some of his essays in his college scholarships, and he wrote about his CIEE experience.
Oh, no way.
Got the Ford scholarship. So, and I think it was
Wow.
really amazing to have, not only did he have an amazing experience, but it was wonderful for him to be able to write about it for in his college scholarship essays. And yeah, so that
That's cool.
I just wanted to add on to that because it's so true. That time spent writing those essays for that really did, it was something that could be used later. So
What program did he do, or where did
did
he
the
go?
Ireland one, he went with Matt.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, cool.
and had it just an amazing experience. So it was wonderful. So yeah, but I just, when Matt said that, I was like, yes, because I do tell my students that I work with that these essays you can use again, you
Mm-hmm.
know, save them.
Yeah.
And
I was at a global education summit a few weekends ago in Chicago, and we had a panel of college admissions directors, and they all were like, we want students who have studied abroad. We want your kids. And it just was like really fascinating to hear from them, like firsthand, that
Mm,
like they really do want these kids regardless. Like the experience and the life-changing um, whole, just everything that happens when you study abroad, it just sets them up for college. And so it was cool to see that it really does, like, yeah, these colleges really want them. They want students who have studied abroad.
yeah.
Hmm. Yep. Do we have any questions? It could be about anything.
Where's the link
Is
to
it-
become a chaperone? I'm trying to go to Greece this summer. I don't know.
Hey, hold on. There we go.
put it in the chat too.
Mhm.
And
And
I've been to, so Emily Gates is the one who runs. She's come to even like a NAIOP conference before. I want to say 2 years ago. I know she said like put like in all caps like we do like put trio in there,
trio.
and
Mhm.
she'll probably get you an interview within like a week, right? Like it's just a red flag that has shown to lead to like people that are totally competent and absolutely know the job. So if you just
Mhm.
reference your trio stuff, you can name drop me, whatever. I don't
Mhm.
get the bonuses from this one. I just want you all to have the opportunities I've got to have, and not just for our students. So, and once you go once and show yourself, like if you show up and like have a good relationship with the site center staff, and you care about the students, because you probably do, like if you really give your best effort and you're great and the students review you and like you, and the center provides feedback and says they like you, CIEE desperately wants like known variables to come back in future summers. There are some of
Yes.
these program leaders that have been doing this for like the last 14 summers of their life, is going all over the world, possibly even doing like 2 sessions in a summer. So it gets to a point, if you're good and they like you can just pick where you want to go, and they pretty much plug and play because they just want to keep you engaged
Mhm.
and with their students. So.
Yeah. So for example, I just have up our website. What are the rewards, right, for program leaders? One student, if you refer one student, you get a CIE drinkware or $50 Stable gift card. 5 students, you get an invitation, all expenses paid, to the Global Educator Summit that I just went to a few weeks ago. This year it was in Chicago. Last year it was in Washington, D.C., I think. 8 students, if you refer 8 students, no chaperoning duties on your return flight, or $500 refund toward a professional development event of your choice. 12 students, if you refer 12 students, 2 round trip flights to a CIE location of your choice. So pretty awesome opportunities. And also
There's
when I got hired, Stephen was like, "Oh, Trio, I can't wait for you to meet that. They're the best." That was like one of the first things he told me when I got hired. Oh.
Somebody had asked if these are the only scholarships offered. I can tell you from spending 4 years now trying to find international education scholarships and funding, like there's almost nothing that exists. There's almost no like independent scholarships. Most of the other third-party companies don't have much for scholarships. Like there's basically this single donor that has given an obscene amount of money that is this $7 million pool every single year. So like I don't think you will find, I haven't found kind of a better version from that. Now, if students need to fundraise some of the differences, that's where they can maybe go to like their Kiwanis clubs. That like I know there are a lot of local communities have things, or they'll sometimes help students do like semesters abroad in high school. Like there might be some local fundraising, but from a formal scholarship, it's pretty much just on the website, the Global Navigator.
And the we give most scholarships for high study. Using the referral link from an alumni disqualify a student from getting financial help from OTA.
So that
So
is where, oh, I can
yeah,
answer
no,
that. In
yeah,
years
yeah.
past, the first year we did this, we were like, there were 12 students. So whatever the scholarship from CIE didn't cover, we covered the rest and the flights. And then the year after that, we decided to move to just covering flights. But then there was like 20 something odd students. So then we quit having cohorts and we started just having funds available to help cover some of the flight costs. And it was a random drawing. But our like state of Oregon money, that was the seed money to make all that stuff happen, doesn't exist anymore. So it is totally fine for them to use these other referral codes. If I need to, like, oftentimes I'll ask you all if you have a list of students you know are applying. I can still like provide those names and like at least get an update or get them tagged with OTA a little bit so we can keep track of them. But they're not going to miss out on any additional financial aid by doing it, right? At this point, because we don't have all that funding anymore, we're just trying to like promote the kind of CIEE opportunities as is. You can get, those hundreds of dollars off by using some of these referral codes, but really it's just emphasizing that Global Navigator Scholarship Program as kind of the best means to make this affordable for our students. Because like
Mhm.
it'd be great to do the K-pop thing in Korea, but it's like a $7,000 program and like probably around a $3,000 flight, like it's our students probably aren't going to be able to afford $10,000. But if six of that is covered, like it starts to make it more reasonable. Also, if your student happens to get like a language program in Japan and they get a pretty big scholarship, like tuition, but they're like, man, that flight is just like maybe too much. They don't have to immediately say no. You all can like contact CIEE, you can contact folks like Kaylee and be like, okay, I would still really love to do this, but is there maybe a closer, more affordable destination that I can still get my scholarship and get some of the tuition covered and just have a more affordable flights and they can move you around a little bit. So
Mhm.
That
And
happened
then
before for
also,
one of my students.
oh,
I had a girl get into the Singapore program, and the flight was like 3,000 round trip. And Chandra and Chris worked with her and got her to the Dominican Republic, and it was like $500. Big
wow.
difference. So
Mhm. Cool. Yeah, and I will say for on my end, they could use a $200 referral discount, and then they can also get a scholarship. So it's 200 plus whatever scholarship they are awarded from CIEE. I get a lot of questions from students about that. Mhm.
all right. Did I Kaylee, if you maybe want to just put your email in the chat. If you all
Yes.
want to have like just be able to ask questions about specific students. If you want to have Kaylee potentially come and present at your school, I know some of you have had several generations now of students that have been going consistently. So I know it's a known thing in your school culture. So might as well just do one of these and get the students excited. So
Mhm. Yeah, I'm excited. This is like I said, I just started, but I mean, it's exciting to go into schools and talk to these kids and get them excited, and it's a very rewarding, very special job for me. So I love it.
Right.
Mhm.
Thank you for presenting with us here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I
Yeah.
appreciate
Any
it.
final questions that we can, and obviously ask whenever, please. I'll send this out tomorrow, the recording, so you all can share it with other staff and your students directly and their families and stuff. But don't hesitate to send any questions our way, or even as they're working through the application, if stuff is being confusing, like we're all here to
Mhm.
help support them. So
Mhm. Yep. Well, thank you guys. I
Thank
appreciate it.
you. Thank
It
you.
was nice to meet everyone.
all right. Have a good night, everybody.
All right. Bye.